Ladies and gentlemen, it's again an honor to speaking to you and bringing another woman leader, a leader who has made a remarkable mark in her country and of course at the global stage. I am today with Her Excellency Dr. Ameenah Gurib-Fakim, who has remained President of Mauritius and was the first female president of her country and has made a substantial mark on not only on her country's young woman leaders, but also for people like myself. And I'm so inspired, and I thought it's a very good idea to sit down with Excellency and learn from her experience over the time period. So let us have the introductions and let us have the conversation that I always wanted to have with her. So Excellency Ameenah, thank you so much for for giving us the honor to be here.
Yes.
And visiting Pakistan especially. Let us go back to the time period when Ameenah was a young girl.
Yes.
So what has inspired Ameenah to be who she is today? And especially as your background is not only as a leader of your country, but also what was the dreams and inspirations at that time as young Ameenah?
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be back in Pakistan. I think I'm coming back almost after 9 years. I can see the country has really changed quite a bit, and congratulations to the leadership. And I'm the only daughter of my family. I've come from a family of two, my brother and myself. And I grew up in a very small village in Mauritius, and a very small village where there was hardly anything in terms of entertainment, because Mauritius was still colonized at the time, because we got our independence in 1968. So there was hardly anything in that village. The only thing there was there was a church, which was next to my school, my primary school, and there was a library. And so I would go there and get books and read as well a lot. And my father, of course, was a teacher at the time, and he also had a collection of books. So I would sit for hours reading. And when you start reading, of course, it's a discovery of new cultures, of new civilization. And I remember there was a book of Abraham Lincoln. And I was like, who is this man, bringing out in America? And there was a writing of Krishnamurti. So you discover amazing cultures. And I was always dreaming. Mm-hmm. I was dreaming that one day I would leave my village, I would do something. I didn't know what. And, my father was a visionary. He decided from a very early age, earlier on, that both myself and my brother will have equal opportunity. Mm-hmm. In terms of education. Education was not free at the time. Mm-hmm. So he chose to educate me, and I went to a secondary school. At the time, because education was not free, you have to compete even for the entrance of the. So I passed, and I went. And there I got infected by the virus of science. How? Because I had teachers who were really motivated. And I was always asking questions, and they were always giving me answer in very, very layman's terms. Like, she would say to me that when you're cooking, you're doing science. When you're washing your clothes, you're doing science. The sky is blue because of physics. And there's chemistry in plants which look different, which are not green, for example. And then the other seminal moment came when I saw the birth of Louise Brown, right? Test tube baby. And I thought to myself, wow, if science can be this transformational, it is for me. Exactly. And then when I finished my A-level, I remember my father going to Hajj after that. And so when he came back, he said, what are you doing? I said, I applied for a post in the Ministry of Health, clerical post. I just finished my A-level. And he said, okay. So I said, I would start working. And I started working. And then after a few months, I said, Dad, I don't see myself doing this. With all due respect to the functionaries who actually do these things. And I said to him, I don't see myself doing it. I said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go and study further. Okay. And he helped me pick the university. And we chose a university that provided me with an industrial year out. Mm-hmm. And industrial training, so it was year out in industry. And then I went to Surrey University in the UK, and I did my BSc in chemistry. Mm-hmm. And then I spent a year out, and this year was important because it was with a big pharmaceutical, it was a big agro agrochemical firm doing research in insecticides and pesticides. And there I learned the ropes of research, what to research really mean, and of course the rigors of doing research, how it has to be systematic. And when I finished my industrial training, I came back to university, I graduated. Then I came home after almost 3 years. And when I came home to Mauritius in 1983, the country was in a really bad shape because there was huge unemployment. And so my father said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Dad, I've already applied for a scholarship to go and do a PhD. And he says, "What are you going to do with the PhD?" I said, "I don't know. But what am I going to do here?" Because there was hardly any openings at all. So I went and did my PhD in organic chemistry. I got a scholarship to go to Exeter University. And then in 1987, when I finished, I came home again for a holiday. And I said to my mom, I've got a postdoc lined up for the United States. And she says to me, "You have left us for so many years. Why do you want to go back?" So I said, okay. So I changed my mind and I applied for a position at the University of Mauritius for a lecturer. So I joined the Faculty of Agriculture at the time to teach agricultural chemistry. And then after that, the Faculty of Science was born. Then I was looking for that chemistry I was passionate about, because when I was there, I was completely, flawed, because the infrastructure I was used to in the United Kingdom was simply not there. And I thought to myself, where will I find that chemistry? This is when I turned to plant chemistry. And because this reconciled my training in organic chemistry, and it was studying the local biodiversity there. And because we are a biodiversity hotspot, it meant that the chances of publishing was quite high, because the mantra of science is, the mantra of an academic is always to publish or to perish. Then I started probing that, and fortunately I had done biology at A level, so that helped me really get back again to the botanical aspect of things. And then there was a big project which was being funded by, at the time there was no European Union, it was the European Development Fund. And they actually launched a project at the level of the Indian Ocean Islands. And when they wanted to create a database on medicinal and aromatic plants. So with my modicum background of dabbling into botanical science and plants, so I said, okay, they put me on that project. And this is when I created the very first database, comprehensive database on the medicinal and aromatic plants of my country, of the region. And then when I was talking to quite a few of the elderly ladies who were sharing the information with me, and I was saying to myself, these women, they were convinced that there's something there, the healing properties of these plants. So then I turned my attention, I refocused my research towards validation of herbal medicine. And I was able to publish even better data and more innovative, because nobody had done this before. So after completing the database, after publishing several books on this matter, I reoriented my work into this area. And then in 2007, I got the L'Oréal UNESCO Prize for Women in Science, precisely for this work. And then after that, I climbed the academic ladder, became the first woman professor in my university, and became Dean of Faculty, Deputy Vice Chancellor, everything else. And then towards the end of my tenure as Deputy Vice Chancellor, I knew that I wasn't going to get the post of Vice Chancellor. And that's when I met an entrepreneur, and he said, "Why don't you join us?" So I created my own enterprise. So I left the university, I translated my research work into a business. And then in 2014, I was quite happy minding my own business. And yes, by that time, I must say that I had taken the University of Mauritius to the Equal Opportunities Commission, because I didn't get the post of vice chancellor. I wanted to know what was the reason why I didn't get it. So by the time they had come up with a report, the only resort for me was to go to court. So I went to see this lawyer, and he said to me, "You want to sue the university for this?" We are going for election very soon. You have an interesting profile. So what do you mean? He says, "You are a woman, you are Muslim, you are not touched by politics, you have credibility. Why don't we position your name for presidency?" I said, "You must be joking." So I didn't take much notice about this. In fact, I went to Rio because I had to give a TED talk. And when I came back, I remember on a Sunday morning, a journalist called me and said to me, "Ma'am, can you say whether this is true or it's false?" I said, "What is it?" She said, "Your name has been put forward for presidency." I said, "Ma'am, you must be joking, because A, I don't have a name. My family has never been into politics, and I don't have any experience of the political world." She asked me, "Can you say that in a statement?" I said, "Yeah, I don't have any ambition." And whether she put next day in one of the leading newspapers, Ameenah Gurib-Fakim for president, small interrogation mark. People don't see the interrogation mark. They see my picture, they see my name, they see president. This became a sounding board. And people said, "Why not?" So, okay. Then the issue came. So they put my name, but they didn't mention my name. They just say, "We're going to present a woman as a president of the Republic if we win." So they started the campaign like this. And then, of course, people got to know that it was my name, and there was a lot of pressure by the time from the Muslim community, because they say, the Quran doesn't accept us. So I came up with the 3 questions to the group who were putting pressure for me to actually go off the list. So can you tell me who is the wife? What was the profession? The wife of the Prophet. Who was the wife when the first one passed, and what was she doing in terms of helping the Prophet when he was not at the front? And then, as a scientist, I want to know where in the Quran is written that a woman cannot lead. If you give me the answers for these 3 questions, then I'll step down. I'll step back. There was no answer, so I went ahead. And then the funny thing is that this is something that women would be interested to hear, is that that the last rally, they said, "Ma'am, they called me, they said, we have to actually now mention your name, because this is the last major rally we have." So I said, "Well, can you give me at least a few hours?" She said to me, "No, there's no a few hours, only about 1 hour or less, because we're going to go on very soon, so we'll have to mention your name." I said, "Can you give me time to speak to my husband at least and mention what I'm putting myself in?" And my husband is a surgeon, and by the time he was already in the theater, and I couldn't get him. So I said, "Okay, go ahead." After that, I switched off my phone because I knew it's going to be terrible. And so that was it. And people say, "Oh no, you have put yourself at terrible risk, because women don't do that. We don't do this." And the parties are mostly a very small group of parties. You will not win. I said, "No problem. There's no harm in risking, because I was already by that time retired from the university. I was running my own business, so I have nothing to lose." And then one December, while the vote was being counted, I turned off my computer. I said, "Ameenah, you shall be president."
So beautiful that you put this entire journey,
Yes,
which in such a breeze ease, like
Yes.
you said. And I know, as a woman, it's not an easy work.
No, it's not.
It's not an easy work. I mean, you told, okay, I did this and everything. But it's not an easy journey, especially when you are a woman in any society, not
Yes.
just in Mauritius or Pakistan. Globally, women face a lot of challenges of achieving their dreams.
Yes.
Or if there are no dreams, but still achieving the basic rights, Globally, gender index is
Yes.
not very good. Right?
Yes.
So over the time period, what I really want to know, of course, your father, your mother has played
Huge
it's
role,
a huge
yes.
role, and they are the figures who are always there. I mean, there is no comparison of them.
Yes.
But there are people who had always been there for you, who had pushed you when you were saying you're doubting yourself. So
Yes.
you always doubt, And who are those people around you who had always pushed you, and you always wanted to mention them? Whenever you are, sharing this journey, it's just not just because what I believe is that a village creates, raise a child to be the child that he or she wants to be. So I really wanted to know about those people and figures who had helped you to be Dr.
Yes.
Ameenah.
It's interesting that I grew up in a what I describe as the microcosm of the world.
Exactly.
And it's a highly diverse environment where I grew up, because I went to a Christian school, a Catholic school, and interestingly, I will tell you, one day in the life of child Ameenah, I would get up in the morning, I would put on my shalwar kameez, and I would go to the madrasa. right? I would go and learn the Quran, learn Urdu and everything else. I would come home, I would put my school uniform and go to my Catholic school,
Cool.
right? And there it was interesting because I would go and they would celebrate Mass, and we all go to Mass. And the only thing we couldn't do, of course, we couldn't take the Eucharist because
Yeah.
of, you're baptized and everything. And then I would come back home in the afternoon. I will go and play with my Hindu friends, and there the Pandit will tell us the story of the Ramayana. So that was my day. And interestingly, the story goes that one day I would come home and I said to my dad, "We are in big trouble." And he said to me, "What happened?" I said, "The nun said that we're going to go to hell because we didn't get baptized. We still have the original sin." So my father would come and explain everything. But my best cheerleader when I was growing up was my father. And he would say to me all the time, and this is something that stays with me even today. He said, "There's nothing that you can't do." He says to me, "You are intelligent enough, just go out there and do it." And then when I got married, I married somebody who was also, I would always say he wasn't indifferent, but he would let me just do my own things. So there was no, because he was himself a surgeon, he had his own career all mapped out and life and everything else. So he did not quite interfere into what I was doing. So that was support in some ways.
Supporting, yes.
And as I wanted to have a family and I wanted to do a career, my parents have been very helpful when it come to helping the children.
Exactly.
And they were there all the time to help the kids when I was traveling and everything. So
Exactly.
they have been a massive help. So again, the success of most women, career women, is to have her support,
Exactly.
because then you have the quality time to spend with your family.
Exactly.
So if you have that house support, then go for it
Exactly.
and run with the idea and bring in the family as well, because extended family, contrary to what people say, it is very, very healthy for the kids
Exactly.
growing up. Yes, they share the values that kids should need to grow up. They share the values, family values, which very often we don't have time to impart because we're very busy. And the grandmothers, they're there, the grandfathers are there. They will teach them about religion, about family life, about society, about everything.
Exactly. It is gorgeous to see women who are striving and see around them the support system that is always there.
Yes.
And acknowledging that support system is always.
Yes.
I mean, what are the values that you had over the time period? And since many young people might be listening
Yes.
to you,
Yes.
what are the values that you think that every young woman or man
Yes.
who grew up, I mean, you shared about your reading habit, who had opened many doors, and I believe
Yes.
that when you read books, I mean, a lot of new openings happen.
Yes.
No question about that. So, what are the different values and traits that you think that at very young age, maybe people who might be listening to us, who might be doing O levels, A levels, or in the university entering? So, what are the values or traits or skills that you think at the very early age you can transform yourself? Is it like you need to have a challenging environment to be growing, or you need to have a very soothing environment? I mean, both kinds
Both kinds are needed,
needed.
because when
Yeah.
you're in a challenging environment, it really hones up your skills, your fighting spirit, and the way to adapt as well and to survive. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. I mean, my life was far from being smooth, and just to give you an idea, I was building this lab to study plants and everything I mentioned. And one day I came back to work on a Monday morning, and the lab was burnt down. Right? So what do you do now? So for 2 years, I could not really work, but I had to adapt and find another spot where I could, because I was at the helm of that regional project I mentioned. And these things matter a lot, because when you're challenged like this, you really need to find ways to adapt. But at the end of the day, you have to stay focused on what you want to do.
Exactly.
And when you stay focused on quality,
Exactly.
right? Excellence, and that knows no gender, no religion, no nothing. Because when you're publishing, people will know that this is quality work, and you get published for that. The other thing that I always say to children is to know yourself
Exactly.
through your history.
Exactly.
People don't know history, and it's not taught to kids, probably by design, right? Because if you're not anchored in your culture, in your system, in your value system,
Exactly.
you will not know where you are, and you keep on repeating the same mistake. Whereas if you have learned from the mistake of others, you'll come back stronger.
Exactly.
So know yourself, and also be proud to be who you are. For goodness sake, I mean, we can't be anything but who we are. And the more you know about yourself, the better you'll be to fair. And of course, this is a thing that you'll impart to your kids as well one day. That pride to be who you are.
Exactly. Um, Excellency, your time period when you are president, you just enter into the presidency. What was the main or biggest challenge that you thought this was the thing that I really need to put it head on? And you being the first woman president of your country, you're stepping into a role where you are a role model as well for those Mauritian women who might
Yes.
be coming, or the country's Muslim women who are just like myself looking at you.
Yes.
I mean, what was the really challenging and what was the supporting role that you had? Because I truly believe that Mauritius had a political stability, governance was smooth when you took the charge. But there might be challenges and there might be opportunities that you thought, okay, these are the things that I put forward, and these are the things that I'm so proud of as well.
Yes. I think the biggest challenge when you are in that position is you say to yourself, I am a woman. So that has the plus point, that has the negatives as well. And but you realize that there are more negatives when you're a woman, because if you look at women leadership everywhere, they really have to really go through the mill, right? They bear the brunt of everything. And to summarize everything, it's like walking on eggs without breaking them. Right. But having said this, as a scientist, I was lucky in because I could shape my presidency through the lens of science. And there were two major decisions taken in 2015 that helped me along. The first one was, of course, the endorsement of the SDGs by the United Nations. And when you look at the 17 SDGs, you find that all of them, they are systems by themselves with a strong dose of science that will help. If we deliver on them, the society is going to be that much better. The next one, which I had the pleasure of participating, was the first successful COP in Paris, the COP21. Right now we're having the 30th in Brazil. And so these were, of course, through these that I could shape my narrative when I was president. So I was always driving the narrative of science. I was always driving the narrative of women, the empowerment. And also now post-presidency, I'm still looking at the world of entrepreneurship. Because if you look at the African continent, for example, why I say the African continent? Because by 2100, 1 in 2 working age adults will be African. And if you look at governments, they can't produce that many jobs. And now if you add the layers of AI coming up, of course, with the disruptive possibilities that AI bring in, you need to find ways of using precisely AI to create more jobs. And for this, you need to empower the young people through quality education. So that's what I speak about. And I think that helping them to create their own jobs, their own, whatever they want to do, becoming that entrepreneur matters. And the beauty of the world of entrepreneurship when it's successful is that you don't have to have a special name, or you don't have to look a certain way to be able to make a difference, right? And this is what I do now. Really pushing the narrative of entrepreneurship, but of course with a good dose of science. Why science and technology? Because the disruptive technology we've seen across Africa, for example, they have all been anchored in science.
Exactly. And what are the initiatives that you had taken for especially women scientists? Because there is a lot of challenges for women scientists to make there are a lot of them, but the global mark has been very limited, as you say. Number of Nobel laureates, less number of women who are being given the award, but there are a lot. What I believe is that most of the workforce within the Nobel laureates are always women. But what are the initiatives that you wanted to take at that time in your presidency, especially in the STEM and AI, or challenges that you have witnessed there, especially encouraging the young scientists there in your country when you were a president?
Well, I didn't tell you this part. When I finished my A-level, I went to see the career guidance officer. My father says, he's there, he can help you.
Of course, yeah.
And shape whatever you want to do and go and save. So I went there, and I was much thinner, smaller, and I walked to the door. He looked at me, he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go and study chemistry. He said, well, why do you want to study chemistry? This is for boys. Chemistry, science is for boys. And I said to him, okay, so what do you advise I should do? Go and study home economics. Okay, so I went home, and my father said, what did he say? I said, he told me this. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to study chemistry. Because my father had told me at the time that I could do anything. So I said, look, I'm going to study chemistry. But I think this is the first major handicap, either stereotyping, right? stereotyping. And then if you look at the structure of the environment in which a girl child is growing, be it in rural Pakistan or rural Africa, then they're not given the opportunities, right? They don't have the infrastructure, right? You find that, for example, when a girl child has reached puberty, she will miss, for example, school for at least 1 week per month. But if you provide infrastructure at that level of the school, that girl child will be empowered. Role modeling matters. So if you can find their role models plenty, I think there's no way. And my message to my village for those girls growing in Mauritius is that, she should be able to say to herself and say to her family, me too, I can do it, because she's done it before me. Why can't I do it? So this is what kind of thing we need to do. So create the structure, address the stereotype, and encourage the confidence. And also, society is not kind to women who are progressing. The number of times I have been told that she is selfish because she's only looking after her career. When a man comes home late, he's working hard. When a woman comes home late, she's selfish, right? So this is the thing I've been thrown at me all the time. But once you know what you're doing, and you're comfortable with that, and your family is comfortable with this, that's it. That's why I always stay focused. And know what you're doing, go for it. But women tend to be stuck at middle management level because society, again, there's too much pressure socially on women, and they feel that, at some point they have to make a choice. And very often the family takes, I guess, the choice, better the choice. Yes.
And of course, your voice is very important for especially the global South countries. In the global arena, where you're voicing not only the STEM related to women, and of course not just primarily women. I believe is the individuality, individual as how you are contributing as a human into the fields of whatever that you're doing. Over the time period, your voice since has been a very important voice in Global South and the development of the Global South. What are your recommendations, as you're mentioning about the creating the infrastructure? That's very easy said than done, right? Or creating the, stopping the stereotyping. What are the various other things that Global South countries should be doing when we are at the almost ending of 2025?
We shouldn't be saying Global South. We should be saying the global majority.
Oh, yes. Oh,
because
excellent word.
Because we are 88% of the world population, right? What should we be doing? We should be keep on building institutions.
Oh, yes.
Because people come and go. I've gone there. I've done my bit. I'm out. But what stays the institution? And it is through the power of institution that we will drive changes in our region. It's happening. It's happening. And the global institutions, fortunately, they have all been skewed towards the global north, right? For many reasons, right? And right now we are living at a time of transition. And I cannot help but cite Gramsci, who says that the old world is dying. The new one, he said the new one was struggling to be born. The new one is being born. It is a time for monsters, yes. But I think the new one is being born. And increasingly, with the access to education to many to young people, and with the fact that, they get to know the history, and the sense of pride is rising. And I think through the gradual building of institutions in the South, we will be able to empower the youth to take their own hands to take the destiny in their own hands.
Exactly. And also, what about transforming the old experienced people and mentoring them? I mean, creating the legacy for the young and the old. What is your thoughts about that?
Oh, definitely. The old, if they can mentor, provided they are good mentors themselves. And but nonetheless, whatever be good or bad, people can draw lessons out of what they have done. So they should be there as mentors, definitely.
One of the things which I really wanted to ask about, since you are a scientist as well, and we at the global scale, not South or any, we don't have a planet B. We are facing a lot of challenge, especially countries like Mauritius or Bangladesh, Pakistan. We're facing a lot of climate change impacts. What are your initiatives recently, and what are your voices, and what are your concerns that you would like to share, especially as women face more of the climate change impacts than anybody else? Because raising of the families and all those impacts.
It's the empowerment of empowerment, because if you don't empower the woman, I mean, at the end of the day, look at countries like Pakistan, look at countries in Africa, for example. They are the ones who actually feed the family. And if you look at that field of agriculture, in Africa is driven by women. So let's say we empower these women with the tools of technology. We give them education, access to land, for example, access to loan, go to the bank and open an account. All these issues, if we can empower them, the world will be transformed. And I think we've seen Bangladesh, for example, microcredits being available, how it has helped women. So there are many models of but there needs to be the leadership to be able to acknowledge that women is still 51, 52% of the world population. If we remove them, we will not be able to make progress.
So, Excellency, what are the current projects or ideas, or what are your current activities that you are involved in? And please do share with our young people who are listening.
No, I do a lot of advocacy for, as I say, I can only go from where I came from. And I came from the world of science, I came from the world of entrepreneurship, and I see the potential of both sciences and entrepreneurship. So I do a lot of advocacy for this. And I'm also trying to create my foundation to promote the girl child and girl child in science. And in Africa, there are many sectors that demand attention. For example, agriculture, again, not so much for food security, but also for food sovereignty.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to be able to grow what we eat and eat what we grow. So these are things which matter a lot. So I do that. I do a little public speaking as well. So I travel quite a bit. I'm here in Pakistan. Last week I was in Africa, so I go everywhere. Yes.
And today, and here in Pakistan, please do share with us that what has brought you to Pakistan as well, so that our young people, those who are listening to us, they also know that what has made you to come to Pakistan as well.
You know, during my academic days, I used to collaborate quite a bit with Karachi University of Karachi, ICCBS, and we had some good friends there. And of course, Professor Chaudhry, Iqbal Chaudhry, he was a colleague at the time. So I used to have many exchanges with them, and I used to send my students for attachment over there. I participated in a conference, and this time I've come here because I had an open invitation from COPSTECH OIC to come, and it's been there for a long time, so I managed to make it this time. So I'm very happy to give a few lectures at the conference, and tomorrow we're going to Lahore, and I'll be giving a lecture there as well. And, you know, discover Pakistan. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people.
One lesson that the leadership has taught you for our young people, for who are listening to one lesson that your leadership has taught you.
You know, in science, everything is black and white. In leadership, it's not. It's all grey.
That's beautiful. Yes. Okay. And one woman leader from history who inspired you so much?
There's been quite a few, but I think the latest one is Wangari Maathai, the very first African Nobel Prize winner. Every time I go to Nairobi, I see what she's done, the forests she created and promoted, and I mean, she was a great African lady, and she's been through the middle, of course, things were not easy for her, but she stuck to her guns and she made history.
Exactly. So if you could give one message to the world's young woman today, what would be that message?
Never, ever give up. And if you are down in the dumps, make sure that your recovery is V-shaped.
Oh, yes. If in one word, how would you describe your journey from science to presidency?
Chutzpah.
That's just phenomenal. I mean, a president with a science degree, right?
Yes.
And how would you view the cooperation that we are having with Pakistan and Mauritius? What are the various ways that you would like us to cooperate more? What are the areas that you would suggest us to continue working between our both countries?
Yeah, Pakistan and Mauritius, we have been working together for a long time. And we have established diplomatic relation, and but I think what Pakistan should use Mauritius for, because of the strategic positioning of where we are, and I know Pakistan has got we have ambitions, for example, for the emerging African continent. Pakistan is Asia. Pakistan is also Central Asia. So I think we can bring all these together, the fusion of these two continents through Mauritius, and use us as a platform to get to, either way. Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Ameenah, for your presence, for your guidance, for giving me the honor, and our viewers who are watching us today.
Thank you.
The conversation. I hope that we can inspire more young people and young scientists, women scientists,
Yes.
to follow your dreams, follow your footsteps, and be the woman that they want to be for their country, for their communities, and for their families. I think
Thank you.
that globally, ladies and gentlemen, and my young people who are listening to us, I think that we women leaders, we are trailblazers, but it is not an easy journey always, not only just for women, but also for men as well. So whenever you face any challenge, always look up to the women leaders or men leaders who are there around you, how they have fostered forward their path, and how they make this forward as well. So if you are a scientist, you can be a president, and if you are a president, you can be a scientist as well. So this is the learning that we had today. Thank you so much, Dr. Ameenah, for
Thank
being
you.
here with us, and we'll be meeting again soon with another amazing leader I'll bring forward to you. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Farah Asif signing off from Diplo TV. Do share our channel and also subscribe to us as well.